Hello, and we have some massive news for F1 Manager 24 as they have dropped a somewhat surprise update, and it's a big one, and especially very, very good news for console players. And we'll jump through this. We're going to go through this very quickly, just give you the hard-hitting facts. But what's very interesting is I think this clearly shows that we're not going to get future F1 Manager games from Frontier because they're basically future-proofing the game with these updates. It will allow you to keep playing the game in years to come without having a new release. So very interesting indeed. But as I say, massive news for console players. As we go through this, you'll see, but essentially myself as a PC player, I've been able to use third-party database editors to do certain things in the game. Essentially, that database editor is now going to be available in-game, so it now allows you console players to do some of the things that us PC players can do. And the first of those is looking at team lineups. So when you start a new Create a Team career, you'll now be able to edit all driver lineups for all teams. So again, essentially, as I say, future-proofing the game if you want to replicate the 2025 grid, or maybe you're playing this in 2027 and you want to replicate that grid, you'll be able to do that. You might just want to do a bit of a random grid. And also, you can start the series with no drivers attached to certain teams. And then F1 Manager will do its thing where we know it has some wild transfers and they'll go in and sign drivers. So complete custom driver lineups will be a thing from today. So this one I'm very excited by, custom drivers and staff. So this is going to allow you to create your own drivers and staff, have them in the game. Now there is a limit, but it's quite an extensive limit. I believe I read that you can actually replace all of the staff and drivers on the current grid. So there's enough to do that. So I don't think we're going to have any issues with the limit on that. If you create so many, but you don't want to put them in all the teams, then they'll go into the talent pool. So other drivers can be signed by other teams or staff. So that's very good as well. So as you can see on the screen, these are all the different things you can edit. So essentially you can make them exactly how you want them to be. And again, this is heading in that direction, future-proofing the game, because if you're playing it in a couple of years' time, the base game may not have certain drivers or staff. This will allow you to put them in the game. The only thing that PC players might have an advantage, of course, we can currently mod the game as well. So although console players are now essentially getting this database editor into the game, you won't be able to do things as yet in creating liveries for all the different teams. So we can import those liveries from mods. And what I'm hoping for us PC players, so unfortunately not for yourselves on this one, console players, is as you can see here, photo of the created driver or staff will be from a selection of pre-generated staff photos. Now that should create an editable file in the game files. So I'm hopeful that we can go into those game files and put actual photos in. So if we want to add actual F1 drivers, you know, rookies that are not in the series or transfer drivers from other series, maybe we can put their actual photos in the game. So fingers crossed we'll be able to do that one. The next one is starting conditions, starting with the race calendar. So actually something we're about to do for our next series. And again, that's something PC players have been able to do in the database editor, but now console players and ourselves, PC players, will do it in game, which is you'll be able to edit the race calendar. So you can reduce the amount of races, so a minimum limit of 8 per year. But if you want a really short season, you could just have 8 races, or you can do anything between 8 and 24. You can reorder those races, and at the end of the season, you'll then have 3 choices on what to do with that calendar. So as you can see here, you can keep the current calendar, so it'll maintain the same race lineups as the current season. So you're just repeating that same order of races. You can do a partial shuffle, which essentially 30% of the races that you have on the calendar, they'll be juggled about, so the order will change, and you can have full randomization, which will change everything. Now, I'm very excited about this one because this is a newbie for both PC and console players, which is rules and regulations. So we'll be able to determine the points allocated awarded throughout a race weekend. So you can change the point system, you can add or remove restraints to aerodynamic testing and powertrain limits, and you can even set up the cost cap and prize money allocation. So we can again start to edit the rules for that season. Another clear indication for me that they're future-proofing the game because we can then replicate the rules of an actual F1 season in the future as well. So that's a very positive one. Also, choose your starting team. So when you create a team save now, you can create your team, but you can choose to play with a different team. Again, I'm harping back to that future-proofing, but let's think about Andretti or Cadillac Motors joining the grid. Essentially what you can do there, you can create them as a team, but then you may not want to play with them. So you can create them as a team, that's the 11th team on the grid, but then you may want to play with McLaren or Ferrari. So you can do that, you start the career of Ferrari, but then it puts Andretti on the grid or any other team that you want. So that again just gives us a little bit more customization. So they are the main points at the moment. They're going to release some more in-depth patch notes, hopefully some bug fixes and some other little changes that we're not aware of at the moment. But as I say, this is coming out on Tuesday 25th, which is today, so it may already be out by the time you get to this video. And it's coming out on PC, Xbox and PlayStation, and shortly after on Nintendo Switch. So it's not going to be ready for Nintendo Switch as of today, but certainly console players on Xbox and PlayStation, you're getting this today, as well as PC. It's a really, really positive update. Really loving this content. A shock to see it actually as well. So great work from Frontier to drop this. If you enjoyed this video, do like the video. And if you like your F1 Manager content, please do subscribe. We have plenty of other F1 Manager content on the channel. But do let me know in the comments, what do you think of this update? What are you most looking forward to? And we'll be back very soon on the next one.